In tonight's Ask Anthony, a St. Johns County woman lost her driver's license for 3 years, all because of how Florida law interprets a traffic case from another state. Lori Carter was involved in a car accident while living in Georgia that resulted in an elderly man's death. She was charged with a misdemeanor and served her time, 1 year of probation, but that all changed when she moved to Florida. Tonight, how a Georgia misdemeanor turned into a Florida felony.
I rear-ended someone and it went over the center line, and then an 86-year-old man on a motorcycle hit me and he passed away.
Lori Carter lives with the memories of that fatal crash every single day. A simple mistake 5 years ago that she wishes never happened. You've never had a traffic ticket or anything in Georgia?
No, I've not had a speeding ticket, nothing like that.
Georgia charged her with homicide by motor vehicle in the second degree and failure to maintain lane, both misdemeanors under state law. Carter pled guilty under Georgia's First Offender Act and was told she would be eligible to drive again in 120 days. The problem is, she moved to Florida before the conviction happened, and in the eyes of the state, that's manslaughter, which is a felony. This is how she described a conversation with an employee at the DMV.
I went to get my driver's license and she was like, I'm surprised you're out. And I was like, excuse me? And then I realized she meant prison. And I said, no ma'am, I don't have a felony. And I tried to explain it to her. And she basically said, I said, I have a misdemeanor. She basically said, we don't have that in Florida and you're not driving anywhere for 3 years.
According to a letter from the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, the agency is required to revoke her license until 2027 under state law. Florida statutes mention if any resident is convicted in another state for injury or death involving a vehicle, their driver's license will be revoked for a minimum period of 3 years.
It is in essence an anomaly because Florida doesn't have what Georgia has. So Florida gave her the punishment for the next closest thing, which was a homicide involving driving, and all we have from a criminal standpoint and then a license standpoint is the vehicular homicide, which is why she received what she did.
Jacksonville attorney Gene Nichols says this is a unique situation because the crime she committed in Georgia doesn't exist in Florida. He says Carter has two options.
The first option, which is probably not much of an option, is to have Georgia set aside, delete, cancel, get rid of what her initial charge was there. Without that happening, and that's very rare in any state, including here in Florida, the only other choice is for her to go to the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles here and ask them for what we typically call a hardship license or a hardship permit.
Carter is a single mother who has been relying on ride shares like Uber and the kindness of neighbors to get around town.
A single mom with 3 kids, one with special needs. It made it difficult to get them to appointments. They couldn't go to parties. I couldn't get to and from work.
She recently found a new job after overcoming legal roadblocks, but now she's concerned with how she's going to get there.
Yeah, it's been extremely difficult. I've been defamed. I mean, I have to tell the story over and over and over and explain that I'm not a felon over and over.
And next month, Carter becomes eligible to apply for a hardship license, but she's worried the state could take months to decide, and there's no guarantee she'll be approved. I'll keep you updated on this situation. Remember, if you have a problem you just can't solve, you can always email me at askanthony@firstcoastnews.com.